Good afternoon, lovers. Welcome to today's Cuppa with Katie show. Such an honor to be with you. Thank you for sharing your time and space with me. I really appreciate it. I know it's very valuable. So thank you. I have something on my heart that I wanted to share around your potential, around your possibility. And really, it's just a little reminder. I feel like those of you who've been in my community for a while, what I'm going to share isn't necessarily anything new. And yet I know, because it's the human experience, that oftentimes we forget what I'm going to share today and we have to plug back in to the truth. Before I came live, I pulled one of my cards. So in my, I say my cards, these are actually Alana Fairchild's cards. They are her Wild Kuan Yin Oracle cards. And I had a feeling that I wanted confirmation of what I was going to share today. And I also wanted somebody else's voice to back up what I was going to share today. And so I pulled a card, and I think actually it might even, is it the last one in the deck? Hold on. No, not the last one. But I've pulled this card. It's from Alana Fairchild's deck, Wild Kuan Yin. Here we go. This is my go-to deck. I will read the card at the end of today's show, but it absolutely is on the money in terms of what I wanted to share today. So I'm very excited to just read the guidance of that with you. That's coming. Before I dive in, though, let me just say hi to who is here with me live. I can see a few of you beginning to join. Please do say hi. Quite often, StreamYard doesn't remember that you've given them permission to use your name. So I can see the messages coming up and I don't know who they're from. It's annoying, isn't it? But yes, it is a great time for a break. I'm so glad. Yeah, I thought I'd jump in at lunchtime. I'm going to keep it fairly short and sweet today, though, because I have somewhere to be. Good morning, darlings. So good to have you here. Maybe those of you who've just commented, let me know who you are, because it's not letting me know here on StreamYard. And of course, as always, yes, it is afternoon. Did I say good morning? Good morning, Joe. Good afternoon, Joe. I don't know. Time's irrelevant. Nice to have you, honey. Of course, if you're here on watching the recording, just type in #replay so I can acknowledge that you've been here. And thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Oh, Helen, of course. I had a sense it might have been you, honey, but welcome, welcome. It's time to tap into your potential and all that is possible for you. No matter what the world says, no matter what your reality seems to be saying, no matter what apparently is presenting to you in black and white, no matter what your brain is telling you, what you desire is there and meant for you. And I know that some of you here in my community, I know that you have experienced miracles before. And if you feel called while I'm chatting today, or even if you're on the recording, to share your miracle stories, please do. We all love a story, and actually we all need to lean into somebody else's faith and trust sometimes when we don't have it for ourselves, to remember that miracles are possible for us, that they are actually the natural order of things. Donna, hello, darling. Great to have you. Look forward to speaking to you on Friday. Miracles are the natural order of things, and they are absolutely meant for us, and they are actually super normal. The word miracle makes it seem like a once in a lifetime, you're lucky if you have one type experience, but actually they're totally normal. And it's when you choose to align with a miracle mindset, when you choose to align with miracle thinking, miracle being, just trusting that what you desire is meant for you. When you align with that, it just becomes normal. I'll give you an example of something that happened to me the other day as part of today's chat. But if you have examples of when miracles have happened for you, can we just share them so that we can begin to normalize? Like, when have you experienced a synchronicity that you just can't explain? and things just lined up for you in the perfect way, or a situation or circumstance just shifted for you and everything changed and it felt like a miracle. Or you had this idea, sorry, excuse me one second, I'm just going to grab a tissue. Um, I'm a coach, there's always tissues in the office. You had a thought, you desired something, and within moments, within days, it just suddenly appeared. Like, what's your story? What is your miracle story? When have you experienced the universe just aligning for you? When have you felt that flow state and things that you wanted have just happened or have just miraculously shown up and you can't explain it? When has that happened for you? I know that every single woman that's here now watching live and every single one of you on the replay have had these experiences. I know that you have. And actually, I feel like what we need to tap into before I even start chatting today, and God knows what I'm going to say, we'll see what comes through. God literally knows. We need to start with remembering that miracles have happened for each of us already. You have all had the miracle experience. You have all had unexpected things show up out of the blue. But your conditioning is so strong to keep aligning with our humanness, with the human experience, with what is black and white. We keep our human experience is to keep aligning with what's difficult, what's hard, what I don't have yet, that we forget when it was easy, when we did receive what we wanted. We're so quick to forget because it is our human conditioning and programming to keep aligning with struggle, with impossibility, with what we don't have. In a way, it's kind of exciting that the human experience is always focusing on what we don't have, because underneath that is our spiritual desire for more all the time. Like, our soul is always calling for more, desiring for more. Our soul is always kind of egging on our humanness to, come on, honey, like, expand. Let's go to the next level. Let's have more. Let's be more. Let's be more of who we are. Hi, Ruth, darling. Great to have you here. Hello, hello. I'm not seeing anybody sharing their miracle stories. How about, before I even go into what I wanted to teach today, I'm just going to give you a miracle story that I had the other day. And then maybe my little miracle story will have you go, oh, yeah, I got one of those, right? Because again, the conditioning is so strong to have us think that, oh, miracles are for other people, not for me. I don't really get what I want. Life's actually quite hard. It's just not true. Lisa Marie, mwah, hello. Sorry about my lack of fingernail. It literally just fell off yesterday. Okay, so let me share a little experience that happened a week ago for me. And I love this story. I was sharing it with one of my private clients this week. I love it because it's so practical. We have in our garden a lovely home office and shed that we had built a couple of years ago. Very timely, right? Just before the pandemic really hit. And it's been very handy to have. And we've had a lot of storms and so on, and our home and property backs onto woods. And so we had these big storms and some branches came down off trees and they put some holes in the roof of our lovely home office and shed. And we weren't aware of it though. So anyway, slowly over time, we've been having some leaks and so on. And then last weekend, it all got really bad. And we had water just kind of pouring into this beautiful space. And I surprised myself actually at how super relaxed I was about it. I mean, okay, first world problems, right? And a deep sense of trust that we'll get this sorted. Now, my husband was having a different experience, and there's no judgment here. He wasn't having the greatest of days. It was 9:30 on a Sunday evening. He was tired, and that's when we had just the worst weather and just buckets of water. He was he was doing that thing. He was out there in the shed with, putting buckets underneath, like pouring water coming in through all sorts of different places. And he was really, really angry, so angry. And there was just nothing to be done. And he came into the house and he was like really cross. And he's like, this is a nightmare. We are not going to get this fixed. Hear the language. We're not going to get this fixed. The weather this week is going to be awful. The forecast is torrential rain every day this week. The forecast is really high winds. And we had this tarpaulin over the roof and it was blowing off and it was a nightmare. He said, the roof guy that I want to come fix it, he's fully booked. He can't come. I can't get anyone. This is a nightmare. And I'm like, yeah, it does seem like a nightmare. It does seem like a nightmare. And I got into bed and I prayed. And I was like, I called on my spirit team. I called on my guides and angels. I know who my peeps are that are holding me and supporting me. I called on the universe. I called on sourceenergy. And I said, thank you so much for resolving our first world problem swiftly. Thank you for resolving our first world problem with such speed that I'm amazed. Thank you for having somebody fix our problem quickly. Thank you for having the weather, thank you for the perfect weather conditions for this situation. Thank you. Right. So I just decided that I was available for good weather and for this miracle, beautiful human being to turn up and fix our problem for us as quickly as possible. I said to my husband, don't worry, darling, I'm handling it. I've said a prayer. He's like, okay. He's used to living with me. No word of a lie. The next day, the weather was sunny and there was no wind. And James called me and he said, oh my God, you're not going to believe it. The roofing guy has had a cancellation. He can come tomorrow. So in the nice weather of no rain and no winds, the space started to dry out a little bit on that Monday. On the Tuesday morning, we had lovely weather, no winds. The roofing guy turns up. He's like, oh my God, we're having great weather. I'm like, yes, we are. I joked with him that the universe is on our side, and he kind of looked at me strange. He went on to do an amazing job. He charged less than we thought he would. And we have a beautiful new roof. Yay. Within 2 days. It's one example of what life is presenting us with is one thing. And in black and white, and when you look at the weather forecast, and when you looked at the physical reality of what was going on in that building out there, and what we'd been told, the roof guy's not available, that was one reality. That's what we could see and hear with our eyes and ears then and there. It didn't mean there wasn't another reality available to us. There is always another reality available to us. And we have to choose to plug into that. Now, I know that you've got stuff going on in your life that you want to change, that you're not happy with. It could be anything from a financial situation to a relationship with a particular individual to perhaps your relationship status. Maybe you're single, you don't want to be. A lot of the women in my world are in that place. Whatever, it could be a health and well-being piece. You have the power to tap into a different possibility and a different experience for yourself. Now, that doesn't mean to say it's going to happen immediately all the time. And actually, depending on where you're at with your belief systems and your programming around this thing, there might be a little bit of a delay to receiving the miraculous experience. But again, I'm putting a human belief system on it right there. And again, I'm limiting us. So maybe I'll just Control Alt Delete what I just said, because I have seen it again and again and again that miracles can happen like that. I think when it feels like there is a delay, the miracle that is happening within the delay is the evolution of our soul. It's the healing of our humanness, that we are actually receiving what we need now, always. Always, always, always. So a lot of you have, well, come and done my 5-day challenge, my Meet Your Soulmate challenge. A lot of you have been in my world long enough to have heard me share my miracle story of how I met my husband. When, for a long, I was 8 years single. I was an 8 years single parenting. And for a lot of that, I believed it wasn't meant for me. The proof, the evidence I had, because I was single, was it's not happening for me. Year on year on year on year. See, I have proof. There's no man sleeping in bed next to me. I'm not sharing my home with anybody. I'm not in love with anyone. I'm single year on year on year. I'm putting myself out there. I'm doing all the things. I'm having coaching. I'm doing the healing work. I'm on the dating apps. I'm still single. It's not going to happen for me. I have evidence. And I'm surrounded by people that tell me and agree with me that, at this stage of life, it can't happen again. All the good men are taken, blah, 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 blah. That was my reality. And I hear this from remarkable women in my world, beautiful women, intelligent women, women who have got their shit together, who know what they want, who are ready. They're like, apparently it's not going to happen for me, because look at this evidence. They're like, they get their, where's my phone? My phone's in the other room. They get their phone and they're like, look, I don't want to date these people. This is not my person. Yuck. All this evidence. It was when I decided that what seemed real was one reality, and what I desired was another reality, and tapped into that absolutely unapologetically. I tapped into that. I made the desire my focus. What I saw, I decided wasn't real. Now, you can call me mental, but it worked. And I believe, you take it or leave it, I believe it's true. What I saw, I decided wasn't my reality. Well, yeah, it was happening around me, but that wasn't the only possibility available for me. I knew there's another possibility available for me. And I focused on that every single day. No matter what life gave me, I focused on my desire anyway. And I also decided that whatever life gave me, even though I could have interpreted what it was giving me as confirmation that I wasn't good enough, that I couldn't have what I wanted, that it wasn't meant for me, blah, blah, blah. I could have interpreted it that way, but I decided not to. I decided to use everything that I could see in the 3D of my current reality. I decided to use that as what's the language I want to use here? I decided to use that as, I guess, an opportunity for me to go deeper into my self-love, deeper into my self-belief, deeper into my trust and faith in life, God, and the universe. That's how I chose to use it. That's how I chose to see it and hear it. I chose the delay in receiving the thing that I wanted as an opportunity for me to dive deeper into my relationship with myself. to get even more prepared to be the woman I knew I wanted to be, to have the kind of relationship I wanted to have. So it was like it was a gift. The delay became a gift for me to personally deepen my relationship with me and feel even more confident that I could be the woman I wanted to be in the type of relationship I wanted to have. Because that relationship was just waiting in the wings. I just decided that. And the way it happened in the end was a miracle. Some of you have heard me share the story that my best girlfriend's mum was dying of cancer. And I went to have my last time with her. And I guess it was probably about a week before she passed away. And I remember sitting on the bed with her and just the two of us. And she was very special to me. And she said to me, and I decided that she wasn't going to like be beaten by this cancer. I decided that she hadn't, she knew. And she was letting me know. She's like, she wanted to let me know that she knew that it was coming to an end for her and that she was okay with that. She was good. She had really beautiful conscious closure yeah, what a courageous, amazing woman she was. And she said to me, Katie, the first thing I'm going to do when I go is send you your man. And I kind of heard her say it, but I didn't really hear it because I was more focused on her, and I was like, she said the words, but I didn't really take it on board. And I guess I forgot what she said until a few days after she died. I can't remember the exact timeline. I know it was less than a week. I was on Bumble. I'd been miraculously guided to Bumble by another friend. And I matched with James. And the way it all worked out was our first date happened the day after her funeral. So actually, I was driving from her funeral. I had to stay overnight where it was. And I was driving from there to my first date with James. And I don't think it still hadn't occurred to me. I can't remember when it dropped in for me that she had told me she was going to send him to me. But what was really weird was the day we were married was exactly 2 years to the day after our first date. How did it work out? I'm a bit lost now with the timing of it. But it was, I think it was on her birthday. Because I know her birthday. Anyway, I should have prepared myself before coming live. Suffice to say, it was like all of these constant winks from the universe saying, that happened because of that, because of that. Now, you can't make this up. Like, yeah, I met James on Bumble, but something else miraculous was at play. Something greater than me, than us, was at play. And all I had to do was be prepared and ready to receive it. I never, ever, ever gave up on my desire. Ever. I never, when I decided to align my energy with source on a daily basis, when I decided to no longer accept what I saw as real and kept tapping into my potential and possibility. And that required daily visualizations. It required daily tapping into my affirmations. It required a ninja mindset of not succumbing to limiting beliefs that responded or reacted to what I was seeing in front of me. I had to say to myself, stop. No, we're not going to go down that route of thinking. I refuse it. It's like, no, thank you, because I'm on this track. I'm headed towards that goal, towards that desire. And that is all I'm available for. And this is where you got to get to. This is what you have to decide for yourself to do. Because, I mean, this is self-love in action. You have to love yourself enough to take a stronger stand for your desires than you do for what seemingly is showing up in front of you. And that takes work. Like, it's not easy to create change like this. It's not easy to overcome your humanness. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's not transformation. It's not easy because our humanness is powerful. Our habits of behavior are powerful. Our conditioning and programming is strong. The desire to stay in the comfort zone of what we know, even though it's what we don't want, is really, really strong. So it takes all of our courage and all of our faith and trust and our constant persistence and determination and drive to overcome our humanness and keep focusing on the truth of who we are and move towards our desires. It takes so much determination. And it's why I created my Love Lounge membership. I'm going to plug it now because it seems appropriate. So my Love Lounge membership, which I started in January 2020, the whole point of it was to create a space that would daily remind women of the truth of who they are, that would daily plug them into potential and possibility, that would daily have them reminded of tools that can help them overcome their humanness, and really simple transformational tools like gratitude, like forgiveness, like setting intentions. This is what we're doing in the Love Lounge. And the women in that space are overcoming their conditioning. They're starting to feel happier. They're starting to feel more aligned with the truth of who they are. They're calling in their desires. They're loving themselves more every day because they're in a space, they're in a community that is reminding them every single day of the truth of who they are and what is possible for them. And that's what it takes, is being in community. It's being in that high vibration. It's being with like-minded people to remind you of what's possible. We have to be lifted up and out of our humanness every day. And we have to develop that muscle to be able to do that for ourselves. And it helps doing that in community. It helps doing that led by, someone like me or, others who have just been living like that for a long time and don't doubt it. I have so many stories I could tell, even our move to America that's coming up soon. I mean, once upon a time, impossible. It's been the desire for so long to relocate our family to a different country. It has seemed impossible for so many reasons. I know the women in my Love Lounge know what all the impossibilities were. I've shared the story in great detail with them. Perhaps I need to do a live on that here. I don't think I've done it on a Cuppa with Katie show. But just to say, everything about our move to America not that long ago seemed impossible, and for many years seemed impossible. I never stopped trusting that my desires for my family were meant for us. And it's all lining up and it's all happening, and off we're headed in just a few weeks. Now, there is a comment that I want to read. Not quite a miracle yet, but synchronicity with the human design workshop I watched on repeat a couple of days ago. We had a workshop in our Love Lounge membership with Charlotte. She came in and hosted that. So we have a different guest expert come into the Love Lounge every month, depending on the theme. And every single workshop is fabulous. Okay, so on the back of this one, I got stuck with my vision to leave work and go traveling after my treatment. Anyone who knows where I work, please don't tell. And the workshop has helped me revision how it could work for me, has set me off with new excitement, now waiting for my miracles to start happening. That's awesome. Yes, I love that synchronicity. Yes, beautiful. I think I know who's written that, but I'm not going to say in case I'm protecting your your anonymity at work. I'm surprised that those of you who are here live haven't shared a miracle story. And I'm wondering why that is, because I know you all have them. I know you all have them. I know you've all experienced synchronicity in your life. I know that there have been times when you've gone, oh, wow, what a coincidence. That's amazing that that happened. Gosh, I didn't think that was possible. Look how easy that came about. You've had those experiences. Why aren't you sharing them? Please to be sharing. Encourage and inspire each other. I could just keep going on and on with more examples. Here we go. I had a miracle when I was a child. I had cancer, and the doctors said I had months to live, and I knew I was fine. And here I am. Oh my God. Well, Lisa Marie, whenever life is feeling like a struggle and it feels like you can't have the thing that you want, you got to tap back into that. Like, look what you overcame. And it doesn't even sound like that was hard. Like, it just was meant for you. I mean, you said, I knew I was fine. I just knew I was fine. People are healing their diseases and their pain every single day. People are walking when people said they could never, all the time. People are achieving goals with their life, with their careers, that people have said, you can't do that, or that's impossible. It's happening all the time. The people that are living the lives that they really want aren't listening to that. They're not looking at the evidence that says it's impossible, they can't have it. And they're aligning with a different energy. I call it source energy. I call it stepping into a 5D reality instead of existing in just the 3D. There's so much more at play than what we can see. I'm going to have to leave in a mo, but thank you. I'm trusting in miracles happening for me. My brain is a bit fried right now, but I'm sure many miracles have already happened. I know they have for you, Helen. I feel like even there was some things that happened around your party recently, and I hear you that your brain's a bit fried right now. I knew, and I think it was a blessing as it's given me a go-get-it attitude even when I'm fearful. Absolutely. And I'm so glad. I'm so, so glad. Yeah. So how about I read you the guidance from this card that I pulled right before coming live. And I promise you this was a genuine, I tapped in and I asked for a card that backed up what I wanted to share today. And this is what I pulled from the pack. So here's the card. It says, she tames by laying down the staff and rope. And this is from the deck, Alana Fairchild's Wild Kuan Yin Oracle cards. And I'll just read the little intro and the guidance. I won't read the whole thing. So it says, my ways prevail. I subjugate the lower to the higher without any force. Through my ways, correct alignment to the higher divine order is established. My authority is supreme, yet I've no need to enforce. Devotion to me is absolute, yet I bestow freedom. I show you now the whispering way to tame great force. I initiate you into the way of strength without coercion, the way of attraction without demand. Follow me and learn the art of feminine power, that fear shall always succumb to love. And I'll go on with the guidance, but what I really love about this card, because it's sharing something that I haven't said today so far, and it's the idea that When we only align with our 3D reality, with what we see like here and now in front of us, when we only align with that, life feels hard. And we're always trying to figure out solutions. Like the single women I'm working with, you know, the common theme is they're exhausted from dating. They're wanting to know, what do I do next? What should I try next? And it's not that we don't have to take action and try new things, as long as the actions are inspired actions, as long as it's like from a guidance that comes from something greater than us that says, go do that now. And we just feel it in our body like, yes, that is the next right move for me. I'm not trying to figure it out or come up with it. I'm not going to ask someone else what they think I should do. It just feels absolutely right for me. And when we choose to align with source energy, when we step into our 5D reality, when we choose to trust that what is meant for us is meant for us, and we align with that energy, it happens so much easier. And it happens in a way that does feel miraculous, because you couldn't have figured that out. There's no step-by-step process. It's not do this, do this, do this, then you'll get that. It's an expansion of energy, and you're moving into a receiving state. And from that place, what seems like a miracle, but it's actually just totally normal, it's the natural order of things, happens so easily. There's no pushing, there's no forcing. It's just a gentle receiving and allowing. And we just have to choose this every single day. That's the difficult bit. You've got to choose this every day. Choose this state of mind. Choose this state of being. Okay, so the guidance is, there is something that you want to attain. A situation exists that you would like to change. You've been attempting to bring it about through the exertion of your will. Now there is a time and place for such approach. Now there is a time and place for such approaches. The strength of human will should never be underestimated. Yet there is another way, a gentler and more peaceful way, which will evoke little resistance within you and will help you attract what you want, rather than you having to carve it out of your own blood, sweat, and tears. This is the taming power, the magnetic lure of attraction that can tame even beyond the capacity of the will. What you want is possible, but the way you may be thinking it has to come about is doing you a disservice. Striving will create friction, where surrender and invitation through love will create affinity with the goal. Do all that you can and then let go. When you let go of pushing and striving, there is less resistance created, and the situation at hand can naturally begin to resolve itself. Stay strong and true to yourself and your wishes, but trust that they can manifest more quickly when you come from a place of trust in the divine plan. Isn't that just the most perfect card and the most perfect message? And there's no coincidence that I pulled that card on the back of today's conversation. Every single card in this deck is completely different, with a very different message. The women in my Love Lounge community know that to be true. I pull a card every week on a live that I do into the community every week, and they're always so different, and they always back up the topic of conversation we've just been having. Always, without doubt. There are no synchronicities. Sorry, there are synchronicities. There's no such thing as, what do I want to say? Coincidences. Control or delete. There are no coincidences. There are only synchronicities. And that's the truth of it, when that's what we choose to align with. You can choose to push and make life feel hard, or you can choose to jump into the slipstream of life, that miraculous slipstream. You can choose that. You can choose it. And how you experience that will be unique to you. What living in the miraculous slipstream of life feels like for you, how you achieve that flow state, will be so unique to you. You just have to choose it first. And you do have to use your human will to choose it every day. So I guess it's about loving yourself enough to ask yourself better questions, to set different intentions. So instead of asking yourself, so if you're a single woman, for example, why are there no good men showing up on my dating app? Stop that. Choose to align instead with what you're calling in. Don't waste time asking that question to yourself and then asking it to your best girlfriends so that you can collaborate in the truth that there's no good men out there. Stop it. Love yourself enough to stop that. And instead, use your energy, use your power, because this is power. What you're choosing to focus on, what you're choosing to think about, what you're choosing to talk to your friends about is your power. Don't give that power away. Harness that power and use that power instead to take 10 minutes to sit in visualization and connection with the life that you know you are creating, that you're moving towards. Use that power to witness that negative thinking and use the power to say, do you know, I'm not going to do that anymore. Here's my new affirmation. This is what I'm choosing to believe instead, and move towards that. Use your power to put yourself in situations with people who will uplift you, who are on the same path as you. Don't just gravitate naturally to the same people you always hang out with because it's easy. Use your power to put yourself amongst people that get it and be in this together with them. Use your power to be really selective about what you're listening to, what you're reading, what you're watching. Choose guided visualizations that are going to support you in moving in the direction you want to go. Choose to read content that reminds you of how incredible you are and what really is possible for you. To read stories of people that have overcome the impossible to create miracles. Love yourself enough to use your power in a way that uplifts you and others and takes you, like just plops you into the slipstream of life and moves you in the direction of what you want. Use your power to do that. You are that powerful. And I think that's very exciting. So, on that note, I will love you and leave you. If you are not in the Love Lounge, you might want to consider coming and joining us. There's a link in the description to come find us. I am planning a little get together for a day for all of you who would like to come and spend a day with me before I move to America. Trust me, the wheels are in motion. I'm just waiting for confirmation from a venue. It will be London-based. It will be at the end of April. Watch this space. It is going to be an afternoon where we get to be in community with each other. It'll be limited. It's a small group, about 20 people max. We'll be in community together. We will tap into possibility and potential in an afternoon together. You will leave changed, and you will leave more committed than ever to the truth of you and what you're calling in. So this is coming. Watch this space. For those of you in my Love Lounge, you will be getting discounted access to the event. More coming. All right. So I'll leave you with that. And I'm wishing you a beautiful rest of your day. I can't wait to hang out with you again next week. And if you remember any miracles that have happened for you, can you share them in the comments? I really want to read them. Yeah. Let me know how life aligned for you. Love you tons. Have a good day. Bye.